Hi friends, in this session we first describe Cauchy's residue theorem. We also discuss three types of isolated singular points, residues at poles, zeros of analytic functions and relation between zeros and poles. First we have Cauchy's residue theorem. Let C be a positively oriented simple closed contour. If a function f is analytic inside and on C except for a finite number of singular points, they are z1, z2, etc. zn inside C. Then integral over C fz dz, which is equal to 2 pi I sigma k varies from 1 to n residue at z is equal to zk fz, equation number 1. Example, here we want to evaluate the integral over C 5z minus 2 by z into z minus 1 dz, where C is a circle, mod z is equal to 2. Described counterclockwise. The integrand has two isolated singularities, that is at z is equal to 0 and z is equal to 1, both of which are interior to C. We can find the residues B1 at z is equal to 0 and B2 at z is equal to 1 with the aid of the Maclaurin series. We know 1 by 1 minus z is equal to 1 plus z square plus z cube plus etc., where mod z less than 1. We observe first that when 0 less than mod z less than 1, this 5z minus 2 by z into z minus 1. We can write this as 5z minus 2 by z into, I am splitting this into minus 1 by 1 minus z. Here actually we have z minus 1, I am taking it is 1 minus z and putting negative here. So 5z minus 2 by z into z minus 1 is equal to 5z minus 2 by z into minus 1 by 1 minus z. This I can write as 5 minus 2 by z into minus 1 minus z minus z square minus z cube plus etc. minus etc. And by identifying the coefficient of 1 by z in the product on the right here, we find that here B1 is equal to, that is z is equal to 0, B1 is equal to 2. Also, since 5z minus 2 by z into z minus 1, we can write it again as, in another way we can write this as 5 into z minus 1 plus 3 divided by z minus 1 into 1 by what remains? Here only z remains. I can write that as 1 by 1 plus z minus 1. So, it becomes 1 by z again, which is equal to 5 plus 3 by z minus 1, that is dividing throughout by z minus 1 into what remains 1 minus z minus 1 plus z minus 1 whole square minus etc. when 0 less than mod z minus 1 less than 1. We obviously get B2 is equal to what? It is 3. Thus, using Cauchy residue theorem, integral over C 5z minus 2 by z into z minus 1 dz is equal to 2 pi I B1 plus B2. It becomes 10 pi I. Next, the 3 types of isolated singular point. We now discuss 3 types of isolated singular points. They are, first one is pole, second one is removable singular point, and the third one is essential singular points. We recall that if f has an isolated singular point z0, then fz has a Lorentz series representation, that is fz is equal to sigma n varies from 0 to infinity a n z minus z0 whole raised to n plus b1 by z minus z0 plus b2 by z minus z0 whole square plus etc. plus bn by z minus z0 whole raised to n plus etc. In a punctured disk, that is 0 less than mod z minus z0 less than R2. The portion, that is b1 by z minus z0 plus b2 by z minus z0 whole square plus etc. of the series involving negative powers of z minus z0 is called the principal part of f at z0. And the first part, that is sigma n varies from 0 to infinity a n z minus z0 whole raised to n, is called the regular part of f in the neighborhood of z0. We now use the principal part to identify the isolated singular point z0 as one of the 3 special types. This classification will aid us in the development of a residue theorem that appears in the following chapters. First, we discuss pole. If the principal part of f at z0 contains at least one non-zero term, but the number of such terms is finite, then there exists a positive integer m, that m is greater than or equal to 1, such that bm not equal to 0 and bm plus 1 is equal to bm plus 2 is equal to etc. is equal to 0. That is, expansion 1 takes the form fz is equal to sigma n varies from 0 to infinity a n z minus z0 whole raised to n plus b1 by z minus z0 plus b2 by z minus z0 whole square plus etc. plus bm by z minus z0 whole raised to m, where 0 less than mod z minus z0 less than R2. This part is known as the principal part. This is our principal part. Where bm not equal to 0. In this case, the isolated singular point z0 is called a pole of order m. A pole of order m is equal to 1 is usually called a simple pole. Example. Fz is equal to sin z minus z0 divided by z minus z0 whole raised to 4. This I can write as 1 by z minus z0 whole raised to 4 into z minus z0 minus z minus z0 whole cube by 3 factorial plus z minus z0 whole raised to 5 by 5 factorial minus etc. This is equal to 1 by z minus z0 whole cube. This I can write as 1 by z minus z0 whole cube minus 1 by 3 factorial into 1 by z minus z naught plus 1 by 5 factorial into z minus z naught minus etc. That is 1 by z minus z naught whole cube minus 1 by 3 factorial into 1 by z minus z naught plus 1 by 5 factorial into z minus z naught minus etc. Here the principal part of f set is 1 by z minus z naught whole cube minus 1 by 3 factorial into 1 by z minus z naught. This is our principal part and contains only finite number of terms. Comparing with the standard series given in 3, we have B3 not equal to 0 and B4 is equal to B5 is equal to etc. which is equal to 0. Hence, Z is equal to 0, Z is equal to Z naught is a pole of order 3. Here order is equal to 3. Next we have a removable singular point. When all of the Bn's in the principal part of the Lorentz series are 0, then we have Fz is equal to sigma n varies from 0 to infinity an z minus z naught whole raised to n, which we can write as, which is equal to a naught into a naught plus, that is putting n is equal to 0, 1, 2, 3, we get a naught plus a1 into z minus z naught plus a2 into z minus z naught whole square plus etc. Where 0 less than mod z minus z naught less than R2, equation number 4. And the point z naught is known as the removable singular point of f set. Then residue at z is equal to z naught, f z is equal to 0 being the coefficient of 1 by z. Removable singularity in terms of limits. A removable singularity at z is equal to z naught can also be defined as a singularity at which limit z tending to z naught f z exists. Next, analytic function in the case of a removable singular point. If we define or possibly redefine f at z naught so that f of z naught is equal to a naught, expansion in 4 becomes valid throughout the entire disk mod z minus z naught less than R2. Since a power series always represents an analytic function interior to its circle of convergence, it follows that f is analytic at z naught when it is assigned the value a naught there. The singularity at z naught is therefore removed. Do some examples. The point z naught is equal to 0 is a removable, z naught equal to 0 is a removable singular point of the function f z is equal to 1 minus cos z by, the function is 1 minus cos z by z square. This I can write as, which is equal to, I am taking 1 by z square outside and expanding 1 minus cos z, that is 1 minus, again cos z, expansion of cos z is 1 minus z square by 2 factorial plus z raised to 4 by 4 factorial minus etc. This is equal to, this I can write as 1 by 2 factorial minus z square by 4 factorial, on simplification z square by 4 factorial plus z raised to 4 by 6 factorial minus etc. Here 0 less than mod z less than infinity. When the value f of 0 is equal to 1 by 2 is assigned, f becomes entire. Next, show that residue at removable singular points is 0. If Z0 is a removable singular point of Fz, it is possible to write Fz is equal to sigma n varies from 0 to infinity a n z minus Z0 whole raised to n. This I can write as, that is putting n is equal to 0, 1, 2, 3 etc. It becomes a0 plus a1 into z minus Z0 plus a2 into z minus Z0 whole square plus etc. where 0 less than mod z minus Z0 less than R2. Hence, residue at z is equal to Z0, Fz is equal to 0. That is the coefficient of 1 by z. Next, we discuss essential singular point. When an infinite number of coefficients Bn in the principal part are non-zero, then the series, that is B1 by z minus Z0 plus B2 by z minus Z0 whole square plus etc. doesn't terminate. And the point Z0 is called an essential singular point of the function f. For example, the function e raised to 1 by z. This I can write as, which is equal to sigma n varies from 0 to infinity 1 by n factorial into 1 by z raised to n. This I can write as, which is equal to 1 plus 1 by 1 factorial into 1 by z plus 1 by 2 factorial into 1 by z square plus 1 by 3 factorial into 1 by z cube etc. plus etc. Here principal part is 1 by 1 factorial into 1 by z plus 1 by 2 factorial into 1 by z square plus etc. This is our principal part, which is an infinite series with infinite number of non-zero coefficient of negative powers of z minus 0. Hence, z is equal to 0 is an essential singularity. Also, the residue B1 is the coefficient 1 by 1 factorial, which is equal to 1 itself. Next, residues at poles. First theorem. An isolated singular point Z0 of a function f is a pole of order m if and only if Fz can be written in the form Fz is equal to phi z by z minus Z0 whole raised to m. Equation number 1, where this phi of z is analytic and non-zero at Z0. Moreover, residue at z is equal to Z0, Fz is equal to, this is equal to phi of Z0 if m is equal to 1. Equation number 2. And residue at z is equal to Z0, Fz is equal to phi m minus 1 Z0 by m minus 1 factorial if m greater than or equal to 2. That is our equation number 3. The expression 2 need not have been written separately, since with the convenience that phi 0 of Z0 is equal to phi of Z0 and 0 factorial is equal to 1. Expression 3 reduces to it when m is equal to 1. Next example. The function Fz is equal to z plus 1 by z square plus 9. This I can rewrite as z plus 1 by z plus 3i into z minus 3i has an isolated singular point at z is equal to 3i and z is equal to minus 3i. Can be written as fz is equal to, I can write this as fz is equal to phi z by z minus 3i, where phi of z is equal to z plus 1 by z plus 3i, where this our phi of z is equal to z plus 1 by z plus 3i. Since phi of z is analytic at z is equal to 3i and phi of 3i is equal to 3 minus I by 6 not equal to 0 by theorem, that points is a simple pole of the function f. The residue there is b1 is equal to, we can say b1 is equal to phi of 3i and which is equal to 3i plus 1 by 6i into minus I by minus I, that is equal to 3 minus I by 6. Writing fz is equal to psi z by z plus 3i, where psi z is equal to z plus 1 by z minus 3i. The point z is equal to minus 3i is also a simple pole of f with the residue b2 is equal to, we can say b2 is equal to psi of minus 3i, which is equal to minus 3i plus 1 by minus 6i. On simplification, we get it as 3 plus I by 6. Next, zeros of analytic function. First, we define what a zero is. A zero of an analytic function fz is a value of z for which fz is equal to 0. That is, if z0 is a 0, then f of z0 is equal to 0. If f of z0 is equal to 0 and there is a positive integer m such that f m z0 not equal to 0 and each derivative of lower order vanishes at z0, and then f is said to have a 0 of order m at z0. Example, consider fz is equal to sin z. Fz is equal to sin z. Then fz is an entire function and f of 0 is equal to what? Sin 0. And f dash of z, derivative of sin is cosine, so it is cos z. And f dash of 0 is equal to cos 0. This is equal to 1, that is it not equal to 0. Here it is equal to 0. Hence, f has a 0 of order 1 at z is equal to 0. A 0 of order 1 is also called a simple pole. Simple 0, not pole, simple 0. In the above example, though f double dash of z is equal to minus sin z and f double dash of 0 is equal to 0, don't jump into the conclusion that f has a 0 of order 3 at z is equal to 0 as f dash of 0 not equal to 0. Theorem. A function f that is analytic at z0 has a 0 of order m at z0 if and only if there is a function g which is analytic and non-zero at z0 such that f of z is equal to z minus z0 whole raised to m into gz. Next example. Let fz is equal to, we are considering fz is equal to z into e raised to z minus 1. That is, fz is equal to z into e raised to z minus 1. then f set is an entire function. That is f of 0 is equal to 0, f dash of z is equal to e raised to z minus 1 plus z into e raised to z, that is product rule, and of course f dash of 0 is equal to 0. Again f double dash of z is equal to 2 e raised to z plus z into e raised to z, and f double dash of 0 is equal to 2, which is not equal to 0. Hence, z is equal to 0 is a 0 order 2. In this case, expression 1 becomes f z is equal to z minus 0 whole square g z. That is, f z is equal to z minus 0 whole square into g z, where g is the entire function defined by means of the equation, that is, where g z is equal to, I am defining g z as e raised to z minus 1 by e raised to z minus 1 by z when z not equal to 0. When z is equal to 0, the value of g of z is 1. Next we have zeros and poles. Zeros and poles of function are closely related. The following theorem shows how zeros of order m can create poles of order m. Suppose that first one, two functions p and q be analytic at a point z0. And second statement, that is p of z0 not equal to 0 and q has a 0 of order m at z0. Then the quotient pz by qz has a pole of order m there. Next theorem says that let two functions p and q be analytic at a point z0 if p of z0 not equal to 0, q of z0 is equal to 0 and q dash of z0, q of z0 equal to 0 and q dash of z0 not equal to 0. Then z0 is a simple pole of the quotient pz by qz, and residue at z is equal to z0, residue at z is equal to z0, pz by qz is equal to, which is equal to pz by, no, p of z0 at z is equal to z0. So, it becomes p of z0 by q dash of z0. Question number 2. Example. In this example, we have to find the pole and the residue of the function cot z. That is, here our function f z is equal to cot z. We can write cot as cos theta by sin theta, that is cos z by sin z. The given function is a quotient of the entire function. Pz is equal to cos z and qz is equal to sin z. These two are entire functions. The singularities of that quotient occur at the zeros of q. Zeros of qz is equal to sin z are obtained by setting sin z is equal to 0, which gives z is equal to sin z is equal to 0, which gives n z is equal to n pi. That is, sin n pi is equal to 0, where n is equal to 0 plus or minus 1 plus or minus 2, etc. These are the singularities of f z. Since p of n pi, that is minus 1 whole raised to n, it is of course not equal to 0. Q of n pi is equal to 0 and q dash of n pi, it is again minus 1 whole raised to n, not equal to 0. Each singular point z is equal to n pi of f is a simple pole with a residue, that is bn is equal to p n pi by q dash of n pi. This is equal to here it is minus 1 whole raised to n, and again q dash of n pi is again minus 1 whole raised to n. So, it becomes 1. In this session, we have described Cauchy's residue theorem. We also discussed 3 types of isolated singular point. They are residues at poles, zeros of analytic function, and a relation between zeros and poles. Hope you enjoy the session. See you next time.